So here we are looking at the graph of a function, and this function is a cubic function, but that doesn't particularly matter in this case. We could have chosen any function we want here. What we're looking at is what's the difference between f of 2x plus 3 and f of 2 brackets x plus 3. Now if we reveal these, we see that they are different functions, as we would expect, because 2x plus 3 is not the same thing as 2 brackets x plus 3. The question is, in what order do the transformations happen in each of these cases? We've got a multiply by 2, which makes us think a stretch by a factor of 1/2 in the x direction. And we've got a plus 3, which makes us think of a translation by -3 in the x direction. So let's think about this one first. What is happening first? Well, let's think, what do we want to happen first? If we think, let's have the stretch happen first, where does this point end up? Well, this point is currently at about -1. If we stretch it by by 1/2, because it's 2x, it's going to end up about here. If we then move it by -3, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, and it's going to end up about here, close to -4. Well, this one is nowhere near that. So this one must be the other way around. We must be translating first and then stretching. So let's think about this. If we translate this first, we're going to end up 1, 2, about here, 3, about -5-ish. And then when we half that, we end up at about -2.5-ish, which is where we actually want to be. So this one is actually translating first and then stretching. If we now look at this one, we can see that that point ended up where we expected it to end up when we did the stretch first and then the translation. Now, if we think about this, it kind of makes sense with everything we've seen in terms of when transformations happen within the brackets. Because when transformations happen within the brackets, we've seen that they always tend to be the opposite to what we expect. So this +3 actually means a transformation of -3. And this 2 actually means a stretch of factor 1/2. Well, in this case, we would expect this one to say translate first, because it's inside the brackets, and then stretch. But because we're inside the function, everything happens the wrong way around. So this means stretch first and then translate. We would expect this one to say stretch first and then translate, but because it's inside the function, everything happens the wrong way around, so this actually means translate first and then stretch. So as long as you remember that key rule that whatever happens inside the brackets, it's the wrong way to what we think it's going to be, that should help you decide what order you need to apply these transformations. What we'll see is most of the time, functions are going to be given in this form, because it's normally easier to apply a stretch first and then a translation. And because that's more how we think, we normally think in terms of multiply first, stretch first, then add, and then translate. So that's the way we're used to working. So normally, we write transformations in this form. But every now and then you might see it given like this, and you need to recognize that that means do the translation first and then the stretch. The wrong way around, the opposite to what we expect it to be.